hard, grating sharpening of the knives of fate echoed like a sound, a siren song, through her life. "Trust Gina," her neighbours said to each other, "to be in the car when the tree fell." "Why doesn't she leave Cliff?" they asked. But they didn't ask her to her face. Anyway, they knew the answer. She loved him. As for Alice Morthampton, aged 30, in the womb a week longer than her mother apparent had expected, the great wind bypassed her. Of course it did. Alice was smiled upon by different stars than were Jane, Julie, and Gina. The storm cut a swathe through southern England, passing from east to west, taking in London on its way, but Alice was not in London at the time, but in Liverpool, where she was engaged in a photo session. Smart clothes against demolished warehouses. Jane, Julie, Gina, Alice. These were the clones of Joanna May. After Carl May divorced his much-loved wife, Joanna May, for infidelity, and had her lover killed, he lived celibate for several years, as did she, concentrating upon his business interests, which were many and various. But nature abhors a vacuum, in particular one to do with sex, and presently a Mr. Hughie Scotland, aged 45, a TV and newspaper magnate, fleshy, vigorous, and wilful, reached for his address book and ran his finger down the M's. Carl was tempted out to lunch by Hughie. Few people can resist the lure of an inside story. "I can cope with governments," said Hughie, "and monstrous taxes and creeping socialism, but I cannot cope with women. Take this bimbo off my hands." "Why me?" asked Carl, picking at a lemon sole. He ate little and drank less. He preferred his fish unfilleted. "How many women have you slept with in your life?" asked Hughie. "One," said Carl. "My wife." "Why don't you leave that fish alone?" said Hughie. "It comes from the North Sea. It will have died of pollution caused by your outfall." Carl May was chief executive of Britnuke, a corporation which had become involved with the rehabilitation of the old Magnox nuclear power stations, 2 of them sited on North Sea shores. "Do me a favour. I'll do you a favour." "What?" asked Carl. "I'll hold the story on the plutonium leak last March at Britnuke A. No one else has got it." "They haven't got it," said Carl, "because there wasn't one." "The public's too sanguine about nuclear power," said Hughie. How was he to know Chernobyl was to blow? "They need stirring up. So do you. Bethany's the girl to do it. Those press photos didn't do her justice." "I only read the financial papers," said Carl. "Out of touch," said Hughie. "You don't want to lose your touch. What you need, mate, is a bit of pain to stir things up again. You're slipping." It seemed to Carl that he would use less energy obliging Hughie Scotland than disobliging him, and so he agreed to take the girl, Bethany, onto his personal staff, Scotland paying her wages. The rich stay rich by staying mean. Fish with the bones in cost less than fish with the bones removed. "I dreamt that I dwelt in marble halls," Carl May whispered to himself, and sang, "with vassals and serfs by my side, and of all the assembly gathered there, you were the joy and the pride." And well might he sing, and thus, as some months later he stepped from the back of a limousine and his sneakered foot touched conquered ground, while the Thames ran by as busy and significant as the ancient Euphrates. Bethany Turner stepped out from the other side of the limousine, and a different tune ran through her head. "Shoo fly," she whispered and hummed. "Shoo fly, don't bother me, for I belong to somebody." "What are you singing?" she asked Carl. "Tunes from the doghouse," he said. "Tunes from the doghouse, that's all." It was a joke. For Carl's mother had kept him much of the time, when he was little and hungry and stole, chained up in the dog's kennel in the yard to teach him a lesson. His father was a dead dog. His mother was a bitch. The child Carl shivered, he wept, he slept, he dreamed, and later he made the dream come true, as just a few children can. "And you?" he asked. "What are you singing?"